just a couple points, guys. A reminder that you can get a custom video. Check out the information in the description of this video to see how you can make one happen. The second point, I'm gonna be doing a live show soon, and I'd like to get some Rolex wrist shots from viewers. So if you've got a Rolex or two and you wanna be part of that live show, give me a little backstory on the watch and give me a high definition, really good photo, and I'll make an announcement on when that live show is happening, but we'll go through some cool wrist shots, and yeah, we'll see what kind of Rolexes the viewers are rocking. So email those to the email in the description of this video. All right, on to the main feature. Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. It's Flower Day. Have a great Flower Day. That's a national holiday here in Japan. Some schools are off, some schools aren't off, some businesses are closed, I think. Most aren't. It's not really one of your major holidays here, but my daughters have off, and so we're at the park. It's kind of a dreary day. It's overcast, the ground is wet. It's kind of, gloomy. But we're at the park, we're having fun, and here are some random Rolex thoughts. Now, I got an email this morning from a viewer, and he sent me a picture of this. He found it on Instagram. He wanted to know what I thought about it. Well, my first thoughts, RSC didn't do this, all right? RSC would never mix and match parts, and this is clearly a Franken watch, and I think whoever made it so is just having some fun, and they're not trying to pass it off as anything, yeah, but anyway, somebody who didn't work for Rolex did it, okay, and was in that watch, and that's my first thought. And it's clearly an Explore 2 dial on a GMT, and it's tough to tell what GMT it's in. I think it's an earlier GMT, obviously pre-ceramic, but I'm thinking a 16700. The bezel is faded, and the 24-hour hand and the local hour hand are reading the same time. You can't separate those on the straight GMTs, so I think it's probably just a regular GMT as opposed to a GMT Master 2. And the Explore 2 dial is a tritium dial, so my guess is it's two early 90s pieces, parts, watches, and anyway, yeah, what do I think about it? Not a fan. Changing the bracelets and mixing and matching bracelets, that's fine, but this is going too far, and it's getting literally to the heart of the watch, and yeah, it goes past the point of fun for me, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable. All right, but look, I mean, hey, it's somebody's watch. They can always put it back or have somebody put it back, and you'd have to before you had it serviced at RSC. They wouldn't touch a watch like this. But look, if it's their watch, it's fine, and look, everybody's having fun, right? And we are too, because we're talking about it. Now, what's it supposed to look like? Well, it's supposed to, I think, look like the mythical GMT Albino. And I say mythical because we don't know if it's a real watch or not. Here's what I'm talking about. And the 6542, that was the very first GMT. It came out in 1954 and ran until 1959. And legend has it that it was also produced in a white dial version. And I've read a couple of different takes on it, that the white dials were for the Pan Am executives. I've also read that the white dials were for the ground staff and the black dials were for the pilots. But Rolex doesn't confirm or deny either way. And it's kind of infuriating because it's sort of like the GMT Blueberry, all right? We don't actually know that the Blueberry is real, was a real thing. They won't confirm it. And there's actually a petition to have Rolex weigh in on this. People have actually signed it, and they just say, just tell us if it's real or not. And yeah, Rolex just doesn't want to play, all right? They got better things to do than play with people interested in vintage watches, all right? Concentrate on their current models or F off, basically. And the same goes for the Albino. And there are other Albino models, an Explorer apparently, I think one other Albino, Daytona. But yeah, we don't know if this is real or not, but there was an article about 5 years ago from Hodinkee. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and also one from Rolex magazine. I'll also put a link to that. And it's a big truck. And even Hodinkee was sort of, yeah, we're not 100% sure, but they had a chance to handle one, and they said it looked legit, all right? And the one that they had was from a second-generation Japanese collector that went to New York, and apparently this alleged Albino GMT is in Nakano as we speak, perhaps, unless within the 5 years that article went up, it's gone out. But yeah, I mean, really cool, and I can see why they're not allowed out there or none out there, because it just doesn't look as good, all right, as the black dialed. And of course, if it's explicitly for the ground staff, it's sort of, at the time, you know, back in 1954, 55, would have made it sort of a lesser watch. Okay, I don't want the ground staff version. I mean, who would get that, right? You'd get the one for the pilots, right? And so, you know, it's those watches that didn't sell, and I don't imagine that one made specifically for the lowly ground staff would have sold very well, that are, you know, the future classics. And this is well beyond classic. I mean, it's legend status. And again, we don't even know if it's real or not. This particular Instagram version, I think they sort of missed the mark, because they have the black painted Explorer 2 hands, and it doesn't look good. If they had kept the GMT hands, I think it would be closer to that Albino 6542, but you've got the gold painted black surrounds on the Explorer 2 dial. So look, you just can't get what they're going for. Well, you could go for the dial on an Explorer 2 16550 before they started painting the surrounds black, and you'd get closer to the mythical Albino GMT. But of course, think about what we're talking about. You don't take apart cream colored or white dialed 16550s to make Franken Rolexes. All right, but we're just talking in theory here. Anyway, I'm all about people having fun with their watches. Not for me. And look, we talked about it. We had a good time. Thank you, viewer, for that picture. And thought number 2. The Yacht-Master would be perfect for that.
Also, right. I worry more about the bezel. The bezel.
Anything that Rolex can service, we take comfort in the fact that we can take it to RSC, they can get it going again, they can replace parts. Again, if you're talking a tritium watch, you know, you don't want tritium replaced with Luminova. That's what's going to happen. But if you're talking a 2002 piece, great, fine. I mean, that's sort of the sweet spot. You get that vintage look, but it's wearable, and if things go south, RSC has your back, right? But what if you're talking about the platinum bezel on your Yacht-Master? I mean, what would it take to replace that? I mean, should you throw caution to the wind and wear the hell out of your Yacht-Master, and if that platinum bezel gets banged to hell, just replace it? Well, you could, but I just want to make this video to tell you what it's going to cost you, because I had a viewer send me this snapshot from a receipt, and the Yacht-Master that he purchased, that prior to him getting it, had a replacement bezel put on by RSC, and you can see the price of the platinum bezel, over $4,200 USD. That is expensive. Wow. I mean, that's the price of a lot of really good watches, and we're just talking the bezel. And look, Rolex does not joke around when it comes to their bezels, and I don't know if they just spend so much time on them. I don't know what it is. If they just put so much time and effort into getting them perfect, maybe that's the price. Is it the precious metal aspect of them? I don't know. But like I put in another video, the difference between a modern Datejust with a smooth steel bezel and the fluted precious metal bezel, over $1,000, okay? And over $4,000 for this platinum bezel insert. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful insert, and it's got brushed areas, and the letters are raised and polished, and it goes perfectly with the polished middle link bracelet. And that's the thing about that watch, is it really is a perfect watch because it's just fancy enough. It looks so country club yet sporty that it is just really awesome. It's not for me because it's got so many polished surfaces that I wouldn't be able to wear it, and I wouldn't have any fun with it, and I just know myself. But it really is perfect, the balance of brushed areas and polished areas, and it's a beautiful watch. It's so country club, it's not even funny. But anyway, that's what you would pay for the bezel. And look, I don't know. I mean, why? Well, I don't know. Is it just cost of ownership? Is it just, do they put that much effort into the bezel? It can't be the amount of platinum in it, but I don't know. I've got to check platinum prices. Help me out. Help me out. Are they that hard to make? Is it just the tax for making your watch look new? Is it like, okay, you know, if you're going to buy a Yacht-Master pre-owned and make it look brand new, we're going to tax you for that. If you want a brand new bezel insert, buy a brand new Yacht-Master. Is that what's going on? I don't know. But super expensive, and I think Jason was right to say that he's concerned about the bezel because it's expensive. Last thing, I'm feeling the need for a live show, and I'd like to get some wrist shots from you guys. Rolex wrist shots, all right? And look, if you've got a collection, choose a cool piece, give me a little history about it. My email is in the description of this video. If you like a custom video, the information's there as well. But if you want to be part of this live show and submit a wrist shot, a Rolex wrist shot, we'll go through, we'll talk about them. Tell me a little bit about the watch, and hey, that'll be cool. I'll make an announcement about that in the future. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.